your boy Corey here, aka Crasher, back with a new video, and ladies and gentlemen, this has been a hot minute since I have last done an episode of the series where I take 5 Pokemon from each generation and give them a much needed buff. Now in this episode, we will be traveling to the Sinnoh region where we examine all of the Gen 4 Pokemon and take 5 that desperately need a buff. Without further ado, let's begin with this. So top of the list at number 5 is going to be Luminion. This Pokemon is a pure water type with the following abilities: Swift Swim, Storm Drain, and Water Veil as its hidden ability. Moving on to the stats, we have ourselves 69 in the HP, attack, and the special attack, 76 in the defense, 86 in the special defense, and 91 in the speed. Now, yeah, looking at this Pokemon, there isn't really anything too special about it outside of its appearance, and rather decent selection of abilities, but that's pretty much all it has going for it. Its stats don't exactly make anything work for it from a competitive standpoint. But ladies and gentlemen, fret no more because we have ourselves the new and improved Luminion. Now, the typing is going to be undergoing a change to Water and Fairy because Luminion does give off those fairy-like vibes. The abilities are not going to change. They remain the same as Swift Swim, Storm Drain, and Water Veil respectively. As for the stats, the HP, attack, and defense are all going to remain the same. However, the special attack is going to get a nice little buff to base 99. The special defense also gets buffed to base 96. And the speed gets a nice buff to base 111. So we're essentially turning this Pokemon from being mediocre at best when it comes to its presence in battle to actually making it somewhat of a decent special attacker. But we are not through yet, ladies and gentlemen, because I now granted access to some brand new moves. And they go as follows. We have Nasty Plot, which boosts the special attack by 2 stages. We have Flip Turn, which is essentially a water-type version of U-Turn. We have Dazzling Gleam, which is going to be very nice coverage for Luminion. Not to mention, it gets a stab bonus as well. And last but not least, we have ourselves Hurricane, because look at the size of those fins, my friends. Those fins looks like it can whip up a hurricane, so we decided to go with Hurricane, a very, very powerful special flying type move with base 110 power that hits perfect accuracy under rain. So combine that with Swift Swim, you have yourself a beast. So next up on the list, we have ourselves Carnivane. This is a Pokemon, honestly, that should have gotten an evolution, but we have ourselves Carnivane rocking the pure grass typing with the ability known as Levitate. And taking a look at the stats, we have ourselves 74 on the HP, 100 on the attack, 72 on both the defense and the special defense, 90 in the special attack, and 46 on the speed. So the only stat that is able to barely break 3 digits would be its 100 base attack. And that really isn't even all that impressive when compared to the variety of other Pokemon. And it is a damn shame too, because Carnivine has one of the coolest designs out of the Sinnoh Pokemon. Well, we are about to give this Pokemon a buff like you wouldn't believe. So when we take a look at the buffed up version of Carnivine, I decided to retype it to Grass and Dark because it has a little bit of a dark feel to it. I mean, that thing is quite intimidating, especially the size of them chompers. And on that note of intimidate, when we take a look at abilities, we actually decided to give it a hidden ability known as Intimidate, which lowers the opponent's attack stat by 1 stage. As for the stats, we decided to buff up the HP to base 94, buff up the attack to base 120, the defense and special defense as well as the speed are all going to stay the same as the respective stat points, And last but not least, we have the special attack getting a nice buff to base 110. So now it looks like Carnivine is starting to get a little bit of that competitive flow. It seems like with these new buffs, there might be some incentive when it comes to using Carnivine in battle, but we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen, because we have some new moves to give to Carnivine, such as the likes of Nasty Plot, which boosts the special attack by 2 stages. We have Knockoff, which is a base 65 power dark type move that actually gets a 50% boost when you knock off your opponent's held item. Not to mention its stab now that it's a part dark type. We have Poison Jab, which is amazing as poison coverage. We have Thunder Fang as well, which is definitely going to catch those water and flying type Pokemon off guard. It should also be noted that while base 46 speed isn't exactly, well, let's just say Usain Bolt type speed, this Pokemon functions exceptionally well under Trick Room. So you pair this Pokemon up with a Trick Room user, then this version of Carnivine is sure to not disappoint you. Up next on the list, we have ourselves Spiritomb. Now you're probably thinking, wait a second now, this Pokemon doesn't exactly need a buff. Well, just hear me out as to why I believe this Pokemon does need a buff. But before we get into that, we have ourselves the typing of Ghost and Dark, with the abilities known as Pressure and Infiltrator as its hidden ability. Moving on to the stats, we have ourselves 50 in the HP, 92 in both the attack and the special attack, 108 in the defense and the special defense, and 35 in the speed. Now, given the history of this Pokemon and the amount of things you have to do in order to be able to encounter Spiritomb, you would think that this Pokemon would be ultra rare and ultra strong, right? Well, the thing is that while this Pokemon isn't exactly weak, it doesn't exactly scream crazy OP by any stretch of the imagination, which is why it's on the list. And speaking of which, I think it's time to buff Spiritomb. What do you think? So now when we examine the buffs of Spiritomb, the typing and abilities are both going to remain the same as is. As for its stats, the HP is going to remain the same as well as the speed. However, the attack and the special attack are both going to get a little increase to base 102 each. And the defense and special defense are both going to get increased to base 128. Now, when we take a look at the stats and add them up, we have a base stat total of 545, which puts it on the same base stat total level as the likes of Togekiss. This is a Pokemon that I had envisioned would have had a bigger base stat total as opposed to it having the usual base stat total of 485. I was expecting just a little bit more stat-wise from it when I first was introduced to Spiritomb many years ago. Now, considering how good Spiritomb is when it comes to its move pool, I really don't feel the need to add in any more moves for Spiritomb. Its move pool is already more than sufficient enough. Next up on the list is going to be Vespa Quinn. Now, this is a Pokemon with a bug flying typing with the abilities known as Pressure and Unnerve as its hidden ability. And when we examine the stats, we have ourselves 70 on the HP, 80 in both the attack and the special attack, 102 in the defense and the special defense, and 40 in the speed. Now, when I came across Vespa Quinn many years ago, I heard boss music playing. I thought this Pokemon was not only ace level, I thought it was going to be a menace to beat. But it wasn't really all that bad, and when we take a look at the details surrounding it, it's not exactly what I would call an OP Pokemon. It's not bad, but there's definitely some things about it that could be a lot better, in my opinion. Well, now let me introduce you to the buffed up version of Vespa Quinn. So, the typing and abilities are both going to remain as is. However, when it comes to its stats, the HP is going to get a massive buff to base 110. The attack and the special attack are going to remain the same as base 80. The defense and the special defense are both going to get a buff to base 117 each. And the speed is also going to remain the same at base 40. Now that's what I call making Vespa Quinn looking more like a boss. Unfortunately, Sword and Shield decided to strip it of one of its signature moves known as Heal Order, which restores 50% of its maximum HP in one single turn. Ah, hell to the no. That ain't happening if the Crashman ain't got something to say about it, which is why I am giving it back its signature move known as Heal Order. As for there being other moves that it could gain access to, I honestly think that its move pool is pretty spiffy, but we're gonna give it back Heal Order because Sword and Shield did the Queen Bee dirty. So with an increase of bulk as well as its ability to heal and stall again, especially when you combine it with its ability known as Pressure, this is a Pokemon that is going to be even more of a nuisance to take down because of its naturally good bulk and the move pool to support it. That is going to be a Queen Bee you do not want to run into, friends. And main eventing this list right here, we have ourselves the Pokemon known as Cherrim. This Pokemon possesses a pure grass typing with the Flower Gift ability, which is its signature ability. Now this Pokemon has two different sets of stats. When it's in its Overcast form, it has the following. We have 70 on the HP, 60 in the attack, 70 in the defense, 87 in the special attack, 78 in the special defense, and 85 in the speed. Now when we go to its Sunshine form, its HP is at 70, the attack is at 90, the defense is at 70, the special attack is at 87, the special defense is at 117, and the speed is at 85. And Cherrim is a very unique Pokemon in the way where when it changes form, it has a drastic stat increase, but that only takes place when we are under the effects of sunlight. And even still, it's not exactly enough to justify having Cherrim on a competitive team, unfortunately. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to fix up Cherrim like you would not believe. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves Cherrim now donning the Grass and Fairy typing because, in all honesty, this is a Pokemon that oozes Fairy typing. It gives me those Fairy type vibes, man. Now, as for the ability known as Flower Gift, we're going to be making a little tweak to it because rather than it boosting the attack and special defense of yourself and your allies when the sun is out, this is also going to be boosting your defense and special attack as well. As for the stats, its HP, attack, and special defense are all going to remain unchanged. However, the defense is going to get boosted to base 100, special attack gets boosted to base 102, and the speed also gets buffed up to base 100. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that these buffs also carry over to its Sunshine form, so as we see right here, we have ourselves some pretty sexy stats here, which is going to make Sunshine Cherrim shine even brighter in battle. Holy moly, those are actually some pretty decent stats if I do say so myself. Oh, but guys, we are not done yet because I am about to give it access to two brand new moves in the form of Calm Mind, which boosts the special attack and special defense by one stage each, and Psychic. We have to have Cherrim have access to some good old extra coverage moves, so that way this Pokemon can be even more of a competitive threat in battle. So with all that being done, we have Cherrim going from being a supportive Pokemon in the sun to being a supportive Pokemon in the sun that can also dish out some immense amount of pain when given the opportunity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this new installment in the series where we take 5 Pokemon from each generation and give them some much needed buffs. Comment your thoughts down below and tell me your Sinnoh Pokemon that you would love to see buffed, and go into details. Spread the discussion around. I am curious to see what your guys' minds can come up with. And that's it for the video, ladies and gentlemen, so I want to say thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing, and especially commenting down below, because I love hearing you guys out. Always have, that will never ever change, so thank you guys again for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day or night, depending on your time zone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.